Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 190 of the Unsecurity Podcast. I'm Oscar Minks. We have the always wonderful Brad Nye. Hey, Brad, how you doing today?
Not bad. Gorgeous weather here today.
Excellente. And then we have a very special guest. He's probably new to a lot of you. I don't know if everybody on all of our listeners actually know who this man is, but we'd like to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Evan Francine. Hey, Evan, how's it going?
Good, man. Did you say new or nude?
Either one. I think I said whatever you wanted to hear. The mind hears what the mind wants to hear, Evan.
There you go.
That's what I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's good to be here, man. It's good to see your faces. You guys are beautiful people.
Yeah, very nice to have you, man.
An infomercial.
Yeah, looking forward to catching up. So I think today we'll dig in with Evan, see what he's been up to, see what he's got planned, and let's have some fun conversation around security like we always do. I think before we dig into that, I'll start. I don't know if you guys had anything in the news that has piqued your interest recently. This is something we've been seeing reports of over the last couple of weeks, but essentially attackers have found a new technique to embed malicious code in PowerPoint presentations using the mouse over trick. Did you guys see that? So you go to presentation mode, you mouse over specific context within that PowerPoint document, and it automatically downloads payload, executes the dropper that's coming from OneDrive on the shared public share, and essentially, infecting your system with just a mouse over in these infected PowerPoints.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool technique for sure. What do you guys think about that?
I think PowerPoint's evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've done enough PowerPoint slides over the years.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like they did it with Excel, right? With the macros, and just the mouse over part is what's really scary to me on that, because these are widely accepted and expected attachments. So you got to really be on your guard.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we always say: don't open anything unless you expected to get that. And if you didn't expect to get it, even if it's from a trusted source, talk to that source and say, "Hey, did you send me this? Should I open this?
Yep.
Should I trust this?"
Yep.
Well, code has become so complex now with so many features. It was back when PowerPoint was only used for doing simple, presentations and slide decks. That was, obviously easier for Microsoft to secure, but now with all the functionality and all the features and all the new, bells and whistles, most of the Office software, I think, is honestly impossible to secure. It's just so damn complex. So it didn't really surprise me. I guess the same concept, like you said, the same recommendations hold true. Be careful what you're doing. Make sure you're getting your software from, reputable resources, and just be careful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've seen another clever technique for embedding code into Office documents earlier this year, where essentially in the comments section for the about in the file, there was code injected into there, and then through specific calls, we executed that. This was a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet would go read the comments, but it would read those comments and essentially digest them as code, which would do the same thing. Executed a download link, we go get a dropper and infect your system with malware. So I think we're going to see attackers continue to get a little more clever about how they embed code. And I think this one right now is still evading a lot of typical endpoint detection. I expect that should change soon. Just be wary and be on the lookout for that. What about you guys? Anything in the news to talk about?
The one that blew my mind, it blew my mind, but wasn't surprising, was the cyber risk and CFOs survey from Kroll. So they surveyed 180 CFOs about that, and said 87% expressed confidence, but 61% of them had suffered at least 3 significant cyber incidents in the last 18 months. 6 out of 10 were not rated. Well, go ahead.
How many had confidence? 81%?
87.
Oh, wow.
But 61 had at least 3 significant incidents in 18 months. But then this is what blew my mind, but then was like not surprising given what we see, but 6 out of 10 were not regularly briefed by the cyber team, and 4 out of 10, nearly 4 out of 10, had never received an update. So it said.
So 100% then are not briefed. I mean, that's the way I read that. 6 out of 10 aren't regularly. 4 of the 10 are never.
Like
so 100% are not regularly interacting with the security team.
Yeah, you probably have like 3 to 5% that are interacting out of the 180, because it's almost 4%, so 1% of that 180. So 2 people.
Wow.
But they said a third of them damage was $10 to $25 million, and 16%, well, just over 15% said it cost more than $25 million per incident.
Wow. That's crazy. So 50% of the people had an incident that was millions of dollars. 61% of the people surveyed had 3 significant incidents, and yet 87% said they were confident in their security.
Yeah. I think it goes into
delusion.
More detail. Like they said,
delusion
70,
much?
Yeah, exactly. It's ignorance is bliss, right? I said 70% of the companies suffered a valuation loss of more than 5% as a result. But, we're good. Don't worry about it.
This is what we have to go up against.
It's still so abstract to so many of these guys. I mean, when you're talking about CFOs, how many of them are actually held accountable for any of this anyway?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It speaks to what we say, like, you got to get in front of them. But at the same time, they're not seeking it out.
Right. And so I think from one perspective, you're not held accountable for when these bad things happen. So no accountability, who cares? And I think it's safe to say if there's no accountability, you don't have security. Unless somebody's actually being held accountable for these things, it's not going to get done. And then on the other side, you look at us as security, people, I ask security people all the time what you do for a living. And then I started asking them, explain it to me like you would explain it to my wife.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've always said. I explain it like I'm trying to explain it to my mom.
And they get into like two sentences in, and I have, I let them go longer, but I stop them and remind them, hey, 2 sentences into what you were saying to me, you lost me. Mm-hmm. Not me, but if I was my wife. And so I think, 1, they're not held accountable. 2, I think we still suck at communication.
Yeah.
100%.
Not me. The other people do. Don't ask my wife.
What about you, Evan? Anything in the news, man, pique your interest in the last couple of weeks?
No, not really. I've been sort of out of touch with the news. I think so much of it is the same kind of chasing the tail thing. I've been more focused, recently on, trying to solve some of the problems that are right in front of me. I figure if I can secure, it's always like your area of influence, right? If I can help my area of influence, maybe that can spread, into other parts. But it's the same, it's the same crap every day. It seems like
it is. SSDD, man. You guys know that one?
Yeah.
Same stuff.
One funny tidbit too before we roll into this. I don't know if you guys seen it, but they did catch the Rockstar Games and the Uber hacker, and it was like a 17-year-old kid. And then they actually believe at this point he might be the Lapsus leader as well.
Oh, I didn't see that he was leader.
Yeah, and that's speculation at this point, but they think he could have been the organizer of Lapsus too. So,
wow.
I thought that was funny.
I saw that he was also from like a Microsoft hack earlier this year, so he's a known, problem.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy the billions of dollars you spend, on information security protections as an industry, and you got some teenager really with no formal training, kind of a gamer turned, I don't know, cyber hacker that can take down, some of the biggest companies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all the Lapsus stuff, and from my understanding so far, what we've seen with like Uber and Rockstar, he's not a lead hacker. He's a lead social engineer. These guys used insider influence or social engineering tactics for all those points of ingress. And so kind of goes back to what we always talk about Our people are our weakest link, and I don't care how much technology, how much money you throw at your security stack, your security program. If you don't get your people on board and train your people, you're still fighting a losing battle, period.
Yep, 100%.
Well, the quote I use all the time, right? Information security is not about information or security as much as it is about people.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's all about people.
It's crazy to continue to watch us, in our industry, try to fix people with technology. You can't do it.
Right.
Give up on it. Either eliminate the people, right? So make everything, completely AI, and you don't need people to do anything, or, spend more time speaking their language, working with them.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about the problem with AI. It's built with bias inherent, right? It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
And the minute you start thinking, oh, we're good, I don't have to worry about it anymore, is when you start having problems, right? So.
Yep, totally.
So, I think perfect segue. Let's move right into Evan. What's been happening, man? Welcome back. Happy to see your beautiful face here. Looks like you got a fresh cut too. The beard's looking nice. Got the hair all trimmed up, huh?
Definitely looks more relaxed.
Yeah. Well, so we moved down to Mexico, like 30 something days ago now. And speaking of the haircut, I found a place in Puerto Vallarta. You wouldn't believe this, man. I was all scraggly. My hair was out. I mean, I looked crazy. My wife was giving me crap, and she says, you need to go get a haircut. So I went, I just took the first place I found. I went there. It was like a magical experience. Like straight razor.
Oh, nice.
I smelled good. I was like, dude, you did magic to this. And so I got done. I'm like, when can I come back? And he's like, well, come back in like 3 weeks. I go, what about tomorrow? And then I went to pay for it, and it was 250 pesos, which is about $12.50. It's about 20 to 1 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Same haircut back home would have, I shouldn't say back home because this is home now, but back in Minnesota would have been, I don't know, $100. So that's crazy. It was cool. Finally getting settled in. I you know me, man, I'm a squirrel. And when I don't have supervision, I do all kinds. So I bought a drone, been flying a drone all over the place. It got attacked by 5 birds. I was in a meeting yesterday, and I was telling them about the drone. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah, I go, and I was on my phone. I said I could share my screen and we could fly it together. So I flew it in the meeting, sharing the screen with them. And as I was doing it, like these little birds, I don't know, they're probably the size of my hand, like 5 birds started attacking the drone.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I didn't have it recorded. Trying to fix or replace an air conditioner. I've never done that before. Ooh. I've got it all torn apart, and my wife isn't mad yet, but, soon she will be.
You picked the right time of year.
The leaking AC?
Yeah, it was the one down in the Palapa room, so I just decided I was going to replace it. So I tore it out and bought a new one. I have no idea what I'm doing. Bought a whole bunch of tools, probably some tools I don't need, but I don't know. It's kind of
the way to go.
I installed one of those in my office here. Same top like the mini splits.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. I had no idea what I was doing either, but you know what? It turns on still. It hasn't caught my office on fire. I think you can figure it out. Yeah, it keeps it cool. Keeps it warm.
Well, we've always had this, discussion about hackers, what's a hacker, what's a crack, these things, criminals and not whatever. But this is kind of what hackers do, right? We take things apart. We try to figure out how to put them back together again, try to figure out how they work. And so sometimes we hack computers. Sometimes we hack people, i.e. social engineering. Sometimes we hack an air conditioner, right? And I have no idea if and when I'm going to get this. Well, I will get it eventually, but
yeah, it's kind of funny. It's the mindset of and not being afraid to do it. Just being like, let's see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Worst case, right? You totally screw it up, lose, I don't know, some number of dollars, and then call a professional to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. I'll figure it out. I have pressure gauges now. These cool things. I bought a vacuum pump. I don't know how I didn't know how that worked, and I still I'm not really sure I know how it works. Messing around with 220. I haven't talked to myself yet.
You'll notice it if you do with that.
Yeah, maybe Evan. Let's start you out. Let's go back to like 110 and let's do some training there first before we turn you loose on 220.
I'm good at 110, man. I mean, I've done a lot of electrical stuff, but and even 220. You know, one time way back when I thought I'd shut the circuit breaker off on this. I think it was a 20 amp 220, and I didn't. You know, so I went and cut it, and all I saw was this flash of purple. Oof. I was like, and I had, thankfully my hands were on the rubber part of the clippers, you know, but it soldered my clippers closed.
Wow.
So it arc welded. Oh, that's another thing, dude. I forgot, like so many weird things. I bought a welder. So, you know, I'm having a deck built over here, and I didn't like how they put enough support under like these some of these wood planks. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to learn how to weld. So I went and bought a welder, a helmet. I don't know if you saw, I drove with my welding helmet on. That was fun.
Did you get auto dimming helmet?
Yeah. So I was driving around Puerto Vallarta with I looked like Darth Vader kind of.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then if I didn't have any metal, I didn't know where to get that. So there's construction going on like maybe 2 blocks down. You remember it, Oscar, the construction site? They're still doing construction. So I went and asked some of them, I go, do you have any metal you don't want? And they gave me some pieces of metal. So I welded it under the thing. And yeah, I'm not sure it's done right. If it falls off, then we'll just try it again.
I mean, it's not structural. It's just additional. So, you know, probably a safe bet that's a good thing to try it on.
Yeah. So now I guess I'm what do you call that? A TIG welder? Is that a TIG welder? Arc welder? What do you call that?
TIG welder. TIG welder. Okay. Yeah. Was that your first time with the TIG welder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we have a mod, we'll be doing underwater welding.
When I first turned that thing on, so I did some reading, you know, before I went with it, and then I turned that thing on, and I, you know, kind of tapped it to the metal like you're supposed to do, and holy shit, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I figured it out, I think.
Yeah, I think Ryan's a pretty good welder, right? So
yeah,
he could probably give you some tips. Yeah.
And I love Ryan, man. But he's one of those guys that I swear he was down here last week, right? Him and his dad, and we had a great week together. But I swear sometimes it just feels like he knows everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, sometimes I'm just not in the mood to hear any advice, so I just kind of like tune him out.
Yeah, I'll do it myself,
but
man.
Yeah, he does welding. He's good, I think.
I'm pretty mediocre with welder. My father-in-law is an excellent welder. He was a steel worker and like old school stick welder. And that's how I learned to weld, was like with stick weld.
Yeah.
He taught me. Just had some fun projects, and then I moved on to the TIG, and it's kind of one of those things. I can make 2 pieces of metal stick together, but it doesn't look beautiful. And you see like those pros, like, you know, my father-in-law can come through, and it literally just looks like someone took a butter knife and, you know, spread some butter across those seams, and that's pretty cool.
I did some of the stick welding, but it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't have a need. There's not really. What's that?
Stick. Yeah, stick welding. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a stick welder or a TIG welder? You don't know, man. You're just welding, putting stuff together.
I have no idea what it is. I have to buy sticks.
Oh, yeah. You got a stick welder then. Yeah.
And
cool.
Yeah.
The TIG is the wire feeder, right? So TIG and MIG run wire through your welder. The stick, you hold the stick and you arc it.
Oscar, you're not speaking my language.
See, that's the problem in welding. No one speaks the same language.
Right?
And then stick, other thing, bright spark.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. If you're holding a stick.
Yeah. And I did reading, you know, and they're like, you could get sunburned from this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so I'm like covered all up, you know, looking, and it's, you know, it's a 90-something degrees and 90-something% humidity. So I was sweating like a son of a gun. And I've been scuba diving, doing my rescue diver training now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I've taken 3 more people since I've been down here. 3 more people on their first dives, so that was a lot of fun. I just now, in the last couple of days, started actually doing work again. I felt really bad because I was missing all kinds of meetings and everything, but so many people were, really gracious with me and extended a lot of grace, in that. So I think I'm back to my meetings on a regular basis. CvCISO, the next go round starts next week. Nice. That's pretty exciting. We've got Meg Perron now, the new program director for that program.
Very cool.
So
seeing that in the career.
Finished 2 CvCISO classes now, right? At this point,
yeah.
Gone through 2 full sessions. How many folks have completed the exam at this point?
So I think we're right around 30 certified CvCISOs now.
Very cool.
I need to sign up for that. I just want to take the test, but I'm going to do it under a pseudonym so you don't mess with me.
Oh, I'll mess with you. I mean, come on. You would do the same to me.
Oh, 100%.
But I can't take the exam because I made it.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to be said for that.
But
maybe you should go take the exam now and be how many of these questions do I remember? What did I forget in the time I created the exam to now? Be a fun exercise.
Well, it is a lot of fun, man, because I think we're starting now to get enough exposure where people are starting to ask us, serious, challenging questions about it. Like what's the value in it? What's the content? What's it going to do for me? What's it going to do for my employer? How does this rate against the CISO, from CEH? And I'm not a big
EC Council.
I'm not a big EC Council fan. How does it rate against, the CISSP and the Carnegie Mellon CISO class? And which is cool because, CISO and CvCISO are 2 different roles, right? There's a lot of similarities, but they're completely different, primarily in their approach, right? As a CISO, I'm usually managing a team. I'm embedded within the organization. It's a way different approach than if I'm a vCISO and I don't have those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the biggest challenge for me is you can't make the company do something, right? Like you're there as a consultant offering your best advice. Now it is very similar to being a CISO in that, but it's challenging because you don't own the program.
Yeah. One of the tendencies we have in us, certainly in our industry is we overcomplicate everything over and over and over again. When I ask a CISO what you do for a job, and the same thing, I'm actually going to post on LinkedIn this discussion I had. It was the random Twitter guy. I don't know if you ever heard. Did you hear about the random Twitter guy?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's a Twitter guy who had posed the question on Twitter, does anybody have any recommendations on a place to stay in Mexico? I want to take my girlfriend for her birthday. And so I replied to him. I said, come stay with me. And he's like, what? And so that went on for a little bit, like this feeling out trust thing. And so he ended up coming down here for a week, and he's a CISO of I can't remember the name of the company. He's also an IANS faculty member and, whatever. And but we were sitting after dinner one night, and I asked him, tell me what you do for a living. But don't tell it like you're telling it to me. Again, I like to use my wife throw her under the bus a lot. Tell it like you're telling her. And he went on, to tell me what he did. And essentially, I was like, it sounds super impressive, but you would have lost somebody like her 30 seconds into what you just said.
Yeah.
And so, to simplify what CISOs do and vCISOs, to your point, Brad, we consult the business to make good risk decisions, and then we implement those risk decisions. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole bunch of crap that goes under that to support those 2 things, but that's it.
At the end of the day, it's that lack of ability to do the implementing that frustrates me.
But if the business made the risk decision, well, then this is your decision. You need to give me the budget to do it.
Well, I'm saying from a vCISO standpoint, the challenge is, hey, look, here's the decision. Okay, they do it, and then don't follow through with the implementation, and you lack some of the, I don't know, club to force them to do it or
which
to
is
do
fine.
it. Right?
I like that, and that's why I always like to fall back on. And that's some of the strategy with the classes. I always like to fall back on objective things. I've had my ass kicked enough times in board meetings and executive meetings that I want to come with objective facts. Like, it's not me. Like, okay, so you end up making this risk decision. We go to implementation, and now I don't have budget, or you don't want to do it, or priorities changed, whatever. Fine. The risk still exists. The score is still the score it is. If you want to move it later, but leave it to them.
I just with our personality types, it's tough to not win. It's like, come on, you said you're going to do it. Let's do it. All right, you're not going to do it. Why not? Well, we are going to do it. Well, when are you going to do it? So,
well, a lot of that too. I mean, as a CvCISO versus a CISO, or a vCISO versus a CISO, you have to have a level of confidence and believe in yourself enough, believe in what you're trying to do enough to push it a little bit. Right? And it always depends on your relationship with the customer on how much you want to push it. Some customers, I can be as blunt as possible and tell you, move this shit. Yeah. Others, it's like, well, okay, I get it, but and that's something that we miss a lot. You go back to what information security is. It's about people. Never overlook the relationship part of information security, establishing a solid relationship with who it is you're serving. And it's trust, credibility, and likability. I can't be an asshole. I got to actually be good at my job. And I always have to have your best interests at heart. If I can do those things and consistently demonstrate that, you end up getting people not pushing back and not pushing back on the implementation.
Well, it was funny. I've got a good example of that. We just started a project with a company, and they're building their security program. So we're starting with policies and their charter. And it's the IT director, IT manager that I initially started working with on the first couple calls, but they're like, who should be as part of this? And so I said, all right, tell me about your business. And they says it, and I was like, all right, all these people. And he's like, really? Are you sure? I'm like, you've got 3 business units. You need the head of each of those units. You need somebody from HR. You need somebody from finance. You need somebody to represent legal, because every one of those groups is going to be affected. And they pushed back on it. And I was like, no. Like, do you want this to be a successful program or not? Because, if you don't get buy-in from everybody, you're not going to ever succeed. It's just going to sit there. And thankfully,
the fact of the matter, it's your business. If it's your business, and if you want to be risk ignorant, i.e., those CFOs who have no idea what the hell's going on, with security, if that's your choice, then fine. I'm not going to try to change that.
No,
but I wish us in our industry and the lawyers who work around this industry would start holding people accountable for these stupid decisions, because it ends up being a stupid decision.
Yeah. No, and in this case, they actually listened and was like, okay, no, it makes sense once I explained the reasoning behind it. But yeah, they were totally not expecting it to be a business-wide representation. They were thinking it was going to be a couple of people in IT. And it's, getting that change implemented that's a good feeling when you get that. You get through from one.
Oh yeah, man. It's like, yeah. But and I think the end game where this industry is heading, there will be accountability at some point, right? There's a critical mass that you hit where enough people are fed up with enough things. We know that you can't separate information security from safety anymore, because all your safety systems are now interconnected, right? They're all IoT to, whatever. And so people will die. Right, we've said this before. I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm not people who know me know I'm not a panicker. It's just logic. People are going to die, and it'll get painful enough to where people will demand accountability, and at that point, you'll have it. And so I think preparing the companies that we work with today to get ahead of that ball. Plus, it's just good business sense.
Right.
Some people don't mind losing $2, $3, $4 million on an incident. Others, they're going to survive, but others are, they demand better.
They did it. Yeah.
And us as CvCISOs too, we can also choose who we want to work with. I mean, I've fired myself from plenty of companies because it's just like, you don't get it and you're not going to get it.
Yeah, kind of stepping back to what you guys were talking about before with Brad and saying, hey, we don't own the program, so it's challenging for us to be the implementers, right? But our job is to implement. But if we think about and something that Evan says a lot that I really like is information security is relational and it's not transactional. Even though we can't be the direct implementer at that point, what we have to do is identify how we can gain more influence, right? And so going back to that relational approach again, our job is to go into there, build those relationships so we can build the trust. And then at that point, we have a much better chance to be able to influence based on those relationships and based on that trust.
Yeah.
For sure. One of my favorite CvCISO or one of my favorite vCISO engagements ever was one of my last ones, actually. And I think he listens to the podcast. I don't know if he still does, but his name is Serge Supanitsky. So I'm going to give him a shout out. But it was at Flight Center, a global travel company. And Serge is Ukrainian, right? And which is a different culture than where I come from, you know what I mean? And I remember the first 5-6 meetings, maybe not that many, 3-4 meetings, it was very standoffish, right? It was, I didn't have the trust.
Right.
Yeah, it was likable, we could have fun and everything. And it took a little while. It was actually when I had my kidney taken out. Weird, but he viewed that as being, I think, it was a changing point in our relationship, because I think he viewed that I was so committed to information security that I just got back to work, because I'd had my kidney out on a Saturday, and I was in New Jersey working with him on Tuesday or Wednesday, and he thought, well, that's badass, which is also one of those things in that Eastern culture. Those things, they value those things a lot. So but the thing is, once I established trust with him, he's my best friend. I can't get rid of him now. So Serge, seriously, man, stop calling.
Those weird photos too. I don't know, man.
Well, some of them are all right, but yeah, some of them we go a little too far. No, I love Serge. He's a fantastic guy. He's working Brosnan Risk, really good company that does some really cool things, and Serge is the CIO out there.
Very cool. So what's next on the docket for CvCISO? We talked about we have someone else helping with the program now, right? Are you guys thinking about doing say an on-demand learning opportunity for folks as well in the future? Any other enhancements?
Absolutely. So right now we're in the transition. So getting Meg up to speed. I'll still teach a little over half of this class, which is, totally fine. And then we're maturing kind of all areas of the security of this program, right? We've got lots of questions. So I've been writing an FAQ document, which answers a lot of these questions about, what does certification mean? We have 5 different levels to certification. We have level 1, 2, and 3. Then we have the expert level, and we have the mentor level, right? So various requirements for being those things. So working on the progression to get from each level. In order to go from level 2 to level 3, there are 3 additional courses that a student has to finish. One is securing complex environments, which is different, right, than these other ones. Working budgeting and communications. So there's 3 different courses to get to level 3. To get to level 4, you have to be level 3 first, and then there's an interview process with other level 4 or experts. We call them
paddles and bamboo canes.
Pretty much, yeah. You got to come down to Mexico and spend a week with me. If you survive, you're an expert. So we're working on a lot of that stuff. I have to get my next thing to do is create those additional courses. Those don't exist yet. I need to get those done. I'll probably do it the same way I did the first CvCISO 1 course, which was, do it on the fly. That for some reason, that's the way I work. If you got to push the issue with me, like, oh crap, I got to teach tonight. I better do the content.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. We love doing it. We're very passionate, but it's not fun to put together.
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So,
but there's a passion too. It's like, it's like giving birth. I don't know. I've never given birth, but there's that initial pain up front, and then you watch the kid grow, right? You watch your program, you watch your whatever grow, and it's like, wow, that was totally worth it. Because we have Meg now working. If we wouldn't have done the CvCISO program, she wouldn't be working here. I love her. She's amazing. We wouldn't get all these students that we've had, the community that we're building. I mean, it's already, we're already starting to see fruits of the labor. I'd say we're just past sitting up now as a baby. If they're using that same baby analogy, the baby can sit now. Can't crawl yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you'll be crawling soon, and then you'll be walking, then you'll be running, and then who knows what's next.
Yeah, Meg asked me, we had our meeting today, and she asked me, what's your 10-year vision for this? And so I laid it out, and she's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, we got a lot of work to do, but we're going to get there. I mean, eventually this baby is a world champion track star.
Yeah, awesome.
You almost said rock star. It could be a rock star, too.
Speaking of rock star, one of the things I was supposed to be working on down here was playing guitar, which I have not done, and I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah, man, you got to do that. Hit me up for a lesson. Maybe it'd be fun to just have you back on the podcast soon, and we'll just do a guitar lesson for all our listeners as well.
There you go.
You just want to embarrass me, man. I can actually.
That's not true. So what I really want is we'll secretly give you 20 lessons, and then pretend it's your first time playing the guitar when you come on here. Right. Oh, shoot.
Right. Because at least with information security, I'm in the same league as you. But when you talk about, guitar, man.
And you and I will be on the same page. We can make fools of ourselves together.
I'm still trying to figure out how to hold the damn thing.
I mean, I really haven't played since high school, so it's been, 30 years, 25 years. That will make you a bit rusty.
You're still ahead of me. Using that same baby analogy, I'm just now breaching. Or maybe we're still in. Maybe we're still having contractions. I'm still in there.
Maybe you're still in utero.
Yeah.
Great album, by the way.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Very true. So what's new with you guys? What have you guys been working on? I know, Oscar, you've been working on a whole bunch of. Hold on, don't tell me. Innovative things, right? You started. What the hell do you call that group? What do you call that group?
Which group are you talking about, man?
R&D. You've been doing R&D.
Yeah, there we go. Innovative things. Yeah, so we've stood up an RD program. It's been pretty exciting. We actually have Seth Bowling, who's one of our pen testers before, and he's lead right now, and he's focusing on our red team research and development opportunities, but lots of cool stuff moving there. We're excited. We get so busy with project work, and our pen testers stay so busy with project work that sometimes it's difficult for us to be able to really find that time and focus that we need to be able to kind of push the envelope and push our services further. And that's really what Seth's doing right now as he's coming in here. We've been doing some really cool defense evasion stuff. So getting better at creating undetectable beacons and undetectable payloads, really studying techniques and what's happening around us right now and taking that into account to be able to mimic that and even push the envelope on those techniques to be even better than what we're seeing in the wild. And so what we're doing with this initially is giving, kind of a level up to a lot of our services that we have right now. But really holding true to what we want to be is an adversary emulation. We're coming and we're doing a test against your environment, know that these tactics, techniques, and procedures that we're using are in line with everything that you're seeing in the real world, and our tooling's up to speed and all that. So we've made some great progress there. And he and I spent some time together a couple weeks ago trying to put together our roadmap of the future. All right, let's start here. Let's work on this tooling. But what are we going to do, in 6 months and 1 year and 2 years and 3 years? And putting together that roadmap, man, I'm so excited about all the cool things that we have in the hopper and all the cool things that we're going to be able to do. And so far, Seth is doing a fantastic job, and we've kind of rearranged some stuff as well internally. So Eric's helping a lot with that R&D initiative too, and so far so great, man. Things are going really, awesome. Really good there.
That's cool. Now tell me, Project Hi-Fi. How do I say it right? Hi-Fi. Damn it.
Yeah.
Right, so Project Hi-Fi. I sent a buddy of mine recently over, Matt Goodacre.
Okay.
He signed up for Project Hi-Fi. How's that going? Is that starting to get more traction?
Yeah, and we're expecting more traction as the year goes on, too. We have some deals where actually we're going to see Hoffy being advertised in some NHL stadiums. And so that's super cool, right?
Awesome.
And so we've been working with the marketing team on how we build that campaign. I know we have a couple of NHL teams that we've reached some deals with, and so we're going to use those relationships to try to expand our reach with Hoffy. We are still getting new folks added pretty regularly. We've completed, I think at this point, I'd have to look at the numbers, but we've done hunts for over 50 organizations at this point. We've been able to find some significant stuff for different folks too, and that's been really, really good. But yeah, it's going good. It's, I think it's a slow process just to get word out and get people really on board to understand, like, what is this? Is this real? Is this a scam?
Yeah.
Because we say, hey, we're going to do a free threat hunt and look at your external security posture and just give you feedback and suggestions and try to help you identify potential vulnerabilities that can lead to a breach before they happen. And people are like, yeah, but what's the catch?
Right.
What's the catch? There's absolutely no catch. I hate seeing people get ransomed. I hate seeing people have to go through a significant security incident, and I know the damage and impact that causes. And so anything that we can do in this good fight to try to help reduce the significance or the impact possibility for anybody in our network, we want to do that. And so, I was just talking with Ryan the other day from Security Studio about some folks in education that really didn't have a budget, and they're trying to get some help. And I'm like, send them to Hoffy. Let me know as soon as they sign up. We'll keep an eye out for that. Let me know who it is, and we'll go right to work trying to make sure we're helping get them the most information they can. But it's going good, and we've expanded our team too internally. We have 6 different folks right now that are volunteering their time to be part of the hunt, and that's something that all our listeners should understand too. Is this is totally free, and it's security experts like myself and our pen testers and our blue teamers that still have a full project workload, and we're volunteering our personal time to do this. So when we have time away from our project work and all that, we want to help people. That's another thing that makes it special. We've got a great group here that really, really do just want to do what we can using our skills and expertise to help people. And this initiative is just a great reflection of that.
It reminds me of the CISP mentor program.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. People, we're so counter culture in some of these things that people are always wondering what the catch is. And I think for listeners, they should know that we've spent so much time, so much effort, really blood, sweat, and tears to establish this trust and credibility in the industry and with our clients and with our friends, that there is never a catch, right? You can attach the name FRSecure with never a catch. Never.
Yeah.
Period.
Although now
we should make T-shirts that say that and go to like Black Hat, like we're talking about, and we make the anti-booth.
There you go.
And that's all it is.
It's like put us to the test. I said the same thing about coming down here to Puerto Vallarta, right? I tell people everybody's invited. And they're like, everybody? Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody. Well, what's the catch? No catch. You should know me well enough by now to know that there's no catch. Just come.
Yeah.
And some people have taken me up on the offer, and they've been better off for it. Had a great time.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
For those who are still so paranoid and don't want to take up on the offer, well, then you miss out. That's on you.
No fun for you. No fun for you.
No fun for you. How about Brad? What's new with you, man? How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Getting your feet under you?
Yeah, doing well. We've got a new program that is really just starting to roll and take off. Department of Labor put out guidance end of last year that these third-party administrator funds, so the pension fund, health and welfare fund, under different unions and groups, all have to do vendor risk management by December of this year. And so we've put together a program to help them out and help them satisfy that requirement, because you're looking at administrators and lawyers. They don't know. So that's been taking up. It's awesome. Everybody, the people we are working with want to do it, and they love how we're doing it. So that always feels good that things seem to be going well. We'll see what happens as it matures, but so far it's been fun to work with. It's a different beast, but it will help just so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's in those instances, like, yeah, everything sounds great. So I'm excited. I'm having, and then you actually have to do the work, and you're like, whoa, hold up.
It's not too bad, because I've done
I got
it
to
enough
interact
times.
with people and ask people about their security stuff, and I got to like push back, and oh my god, I don't want to do it.
It's working out those little hiccups of like, all right, I have a good idea of how I would handle this, but now I've got to push back and go to the lawyer and say, hey, no, this vendor needs to do these remediation actions is my recommendation. You can accept that or ignore it and accept the risk as is, so there is work involved, obviously, but it's working with people that want to learn and want to do the right thing. So,
well, it's cool when you as people get more and more into third-party information security risk management, you learn the art behind it, right? Because you can push back on a vendor or a service provider and paint it in a way that they see that it's going to improve their business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not just a security thing. It's actually going to make you more money. It's going to make your company better. Oh, well, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of art to it too.
Yep. But, it's all there. Anytime you have a new service offering or a solution, there's always hiccups that you thought you had seen coming or that you didn't see coming. And just got to be, agile, nimble, and just kind of roll with it.
Agile. That's one thing I am not. I am not agile or nimble.
I don't know, man. In the water, you're pretty agile.
In the water.
Sea lion.
Yeah. You're a merman.
Man. Let me see if that's worth anything around here.
See what?
I'm gonna see if that's worth anything around here.
A merman?
I'm a merman.
If anybody will pay for it or something.
Yeah.
I got bills now.
So there's like the Sip and Dip in Montana. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. It's like a bar where they have the mermaids that swim and the tank behind the bar. So maybe, Evan, that's your calling. You start the first merman bar down in Puerto Vallarta. Be a little side hustle for you where you swim in the aquarium at night.
I could do that. Hey, look, somebody just brought me some. Can you see it? Like some
Ooh,
chips.
nice.
Oh, yes. Chips and guac.
So we can do podcast with some guac and chips.
Heck yeah.
Man.
I think we're probably reaching the end of our time here today. Evan's been awesome having you on, man. Appreciate your time. Hopefully we can have you on here more again in the future. This is, your baby you built here. So really just whenever you want to be on, you let me know. And if you don't let me know, then I'm still going to holler at you every couple months and say, hey, come tell people what you're up to, because everybody wants to know for sure.
Yes.
Well, absolutely, man. It's my favorite thing to do is to see you guys and love you guys and, do whatever I can to help and support, So me being here it means more to me probably than it does to you. It's really, really cool to see you guys. It makes me happy.
Heck yeah, man. It's great having you for sure. Before we roll to, and I guess, we'll do some shout outs here in a second, and then thoughts and prayers to friends and family in the Florida area. I'm sure by the time this comes out, I think the situation will be different. We'll know a little bit more about, but I do know so far that it's been hard for Brad's family, and Tyler has some family down there, and we have some workers down there as well right now. So keeping everybody in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully they make it through safe and sound.
Yep.
All right.
Shout outs, Evan. What you got, man?
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the people who, I got asked yesterday in an email, so is it hard to run the business, from Mexico, a U.S. based business in Mexico? And I'm like, not with the team I got. They are so amazing. They don't miss a beat. So shout out to just you guys, all of you, FRSecure, Security Studio. I got to spend some time yesterday with Brian Kelly and his wife, and man, just totally not the kind of guy that without this I would ever encounter or hang out with. But fascinating dude. He's got pet rabbits, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
I thought it was fascinating. I'm like, you put leashes on them? Whatever. So just shout out to all you guys for being you. You guys are all awesome.
Heck yeah. Appreciate that, Evan. How about you, Brad?
I'm going to give a shout out to Shane, our associate consultant. He's really taken the security news and just run with it.
Oh, yeah.
He's only been here 4 months, and just taking things by the rein. And he's helping me with this vendor risk management stuff and some of my vCISO clients. And it's just awesome to see someone young and who gets it and is got that passion and drive. So good job.
Yeah, Shane is doing
was he like 14 years
fantastic.
old?
Seriously, he graduated college in May.
Yeah, he's young, he's driven, he's so intelligent, so well spoken.
Yeah.
Does such a good job with the news, and that's something else talking about Hafi before. So for our listeners, you can hit projecthafi.com. There's a threads page on there where our security news goes up every week. We put relevant cyber threat intel up there. It's no charge. It's free for everybody because CTI should always be free for everybody. And you can subscribe right there to get alerts if you want when we post something new. And then I think, too, Shane, we're going to start doing a weekly YouTube video. So we're going to do the weekly security news with Shane. And I think he's going to get rolling on those news videos here in the next couple of weeks as well. So we'll let folks know where to get that. I'm sure it'll be on the FRSecure YouTube page. I'm sure we'll blast it on socials, but hopefully we can get you guys some subscription info too.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Andy Forsberg. He has been working his butt off, doing just a fantastic job. He's really knocking it out of the park in his role, director of marketing. But then also we got Hacks and Hops coming up next week, and he's been working his butt off. Everything looks like it's going to be a fantastic day and a fantastic event. And I know he's stressing about it, but I know everything's going to go smoothly because he's worked so hard to get here. So shout out to you, Andy. We see all your hard work, man, and we appreciate it. And then next week, too, Hacks and Hops. Reminder for everybody, you haven't got your tickets, go get your tickets. But I'll be there. Evan's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. Brad, I'm sure you're going to swing by, too.
Yep,
so
I'm planning on it.
We'll get everybody together, and, it'll be awesome.
Yeah. Tortilla chips.
All right. I think that's a wrap for this week. Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Brad. Thanks to all our listeners. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
See ya.